I'm not gonna say I can't believe this is happening because it's something that I've been talking about here since forever. But just because I've been talking about it with frequency, it doesn't mean that when it happens, it doesn't surprise me still, like leaves me in a state of shock. Because once again, the world that I thought I was preparing for growing up simply isn't here. And sometimes that hits you in many different ways. And I guess because of my occupation, I get to see it from people directly because it's what I do, working with people in a very mundane setting. And sometimes I think that exposes more about people than other settings might. Yesterday, I had once again another person come in to cry about how we are out of stock on some items. And she was talking about how it's ridiculous that this is her fourth week coming in and that we still don't have what she's looking for, which was a very specific brand of a specific frozen item. And I'm like, yeah, we have been out of stock, and you can expect that we will continue to be out of stock on some things while we catch up with the orders that did not get fulfilled when we had those storms shut down the south. You can also expect that we're still struggling with the egg situation because there was something that could be harmful for humans. Some stores could have them, some stores could not. And just so you know, whenever there are emergencies like this, usually we impose a limitation on what it is that we can get. And usually, absolute utter essentials are all we can get. For instance, did you notice that the water was never out of stock? Maybe that's an essential. Did you notice that other items like milk were never out of stock? Maybe that's considered an essential. I know that eggs are basic and by extension an essential, but this is an essential with an asterisk by it, given the situation with the avian flu that affects chickens every time it gets cold. So anyway, this lady was talking about her little item, and she started hollering at me like I'm a dog. She was like, I am looking for this frozen item by this brand. And I'm like, hey, how are you? And she's like, huh? And I'm like, hello, how are you? And then she's like, I am good. That frozen item by this brand. She started chopping up what she was saying like that. When are you going to get it in? It's been 4 weeks. She kept going, and I said, give me 1 second, I'll find out. She was like, what? And I just ignored her at that point. I grabbed my phone, I dialed my supervisor. I was like, hey, I'm looking for this brand of this item. Can you find out more about it? And he happened to be talking to someone who works from that department anyway. So I was looking in their direction, pretty much semi-giving my back to this lady. I saw the other colleague walk by and then talk to the lady, and she was like, are you the one looking for this and that? And then the lady was trying to give her whole biography again, and then my coworker was like, sure, give me a minute. I like how he pulled away from it too. Give me a minute and I'll go check. Anyway, fortunately, she had the sense, without me telling her, of pushing her cart out of the way, of her getting out of the lane so that other people could come through. Some time passes, that colleague comes back, and he gives her the bad news that we don't exactly have that one. The only one we have is the other brand. And she was pretty much freaking out at him, not necessarily loudly, but she was like wilding up. And I couldn't really hear what they were saying exactly. I only caught the part of, this is my 4th time here and y'all never have anything, blah, blah, blah. And mind you, the store is pretty full of stuff. It's just that the specific thing she's looking for, we do have that frozen item, but we don't have her specific brand. If you're really that concerned about it, you should try either to settle for what we do have or go to another store. But anyway, once they were done arguing, I just started scanning her stuff, and she was giving me like this death stare. I ignored her, and then I said, $16.77 is your total. And then she paid, And then she started saying some shit. I don't remember what else she said because, like I said, when I tune people out, I can mute you mentally. All I caught was her saying, I'm really gonna try to make this the last time I come here. Even though I have said that the last 3 to 4 times I've been here. But I'll probably not commit to that. I'll probably be back, blah, blah, blah. And at that point, the receipt was done printing. And I said, thank you, have a good one. And I moved on to the next person. But see, you guys, the reason I'm like that is because the most important thing I learned from my supervisors way back in the day when I was new is do not entertain. And back in those days, I really didn't fully understand it. I guess I did try to reason with people and try to be consoling for them, try to be like, oh, but it's gonna be all right. We're gonna try this instead. Or you're right, we could do better. We need to step it up so that we can keep you happy. Whatever conversational, encouraging self-blame, even though none of it is our fault and stuff like that, tactic to, I guess, establish a relationship with people. But the problem is, what I got to learn with the passage of time is people like that are going to take advantage of your service. They're going to take advantage of your demeanor and how you go above and beyond to serve them. They're clearly not getting served at home. If they were, they would be happier people when you encounter them out here in the wild. They just want to feel that special. They want to have that connection. They want to have that, I guess, privileged status. Some people legit want to be like highly rated customers or sought after. I don't know how to describe it, like A-listers of some sort. And I'm like, no, you're just a bloody customer, just like anybody else. And even my customers who are my friends, I still greet them with the same protocol. They understand and respect that I'm at work. Therefore, they care and they wouldn't try to compromise my position there. That is respect. That is mutually beneficial respect right there. But some people, it's just a one lane type of thing. Like, I'm gonna be difficult. I'm going to remain difficult. Even if I see you slaving away, trying to go above and beyond for me, sometimes in ways that maybe other people have never done before. And because I observed that about you, I'm just going to try to continue to take advantage of you. And you know that this is what they're doing when there's other workers around. But for some reason, it's you, the one they always try to pick. Now, I guess you could say, changing my image to where I will serve you up until the point it's reasonable. Once you get the news that, no, we don't have something, if you can't accept it, if you can't take it, at that point, I'm done with you. That's not my problem. We can either continue this transaction, and you will do so comporting yourself, or I will move on to the next person. I had to refer 2 clowns to other people, to like other cashiers, other supervisors and stuff. Another clown I had, she wasn't exactly a clown. It was just her payment method wasn't going through. But when we did try to re-ring her to see if that would make the computer forget that she had multiple errors already going on her end about the payment method, it turns out that she was still getting declined. So at that point, it is out of our control. No, we cannot let you walk out with these groceries for free. That type of thing. All in all, like I have always said, and this sounds very dark and scary, but we are not prepared for a real emergency. That kind of attitude that we encounter, people like this, the entitlement, the disrespect, I think it's because this place hasn't seen real necessity in a long time. A conflict. Say, us getting bombed, us getting a major weather catastrophe that affects a sizable portion of the country for an extended period of time. Something seismic happening in Haiti. You know how on them it's utter devastation. Well, here, because we're such a big landmass, it's like we have choices to tune out the tragedy that happens in one area, like the California fires. I'm not in the West Coast. Those had zero impact in me. Like impact that I can perceive, I can feel, I can observe, and I also see it translating into my everyday. Nothing like that happened to me. It seemed like as devastated as that area was, the rest of the country wasn't shut down for it. Now, if something happened domestically to where the entire country gets shut down because of that, then that's when I think some people's attitudes and the truth about them is going to have to come out. When we get around to times of reconstruction and things like that, I feel like that's when we actually become more human toward each other, more supportive of each other, togetherness. I have seen how certain tragic moments have brought the community together. That's great. But it's kind of like getting ghosted when you have a health problem. In the beginning of it, everybody's like, oh, let me know if you need anything. I'll be there if you need me. And then after that, it's like the ghosting takes place. Like, no, what happened? Keep me in your mind. Keep me in your thoughts and be genuinely invested. You see, those things. And because we have lived in this mirage, I guess, of exceptionalism and abundance and those kinds of things, then I think that's what leads to this behavior of being entitled and expectations being all crazy, and the humanity is like out of these people. Of course, I'm not saying this about everybody. I do have very nice encounters, but I do think that those who are always alone, such as this case, they're the ones who have I guess unaddressed issues. And when I see that happening, I always tell myself, I hope that the few people I have in my life hold me accountable if I were to ever get out of control like that. No matter how much in pain or miserable I am, I cannot imagine just lashing out personally at a worker. If I do have like a slighter, firmer tone like I have in other situations, it's because, hey, I'm telling you about this. I don't see it getting resolved, yet I am still paying money. It's still costing me. What are we doing? What else can we do? Who else can we talk to? With you present so that you can learn. Every time there's like a challenge going on to where one of my superiors has to get involved, I don't run away from it. I stay right there. I take it all in. So yeah, you guys, that's what I mean. It's this whole not understanding that there are things that disrupt the supply chain and things like that. It's something that I think everybody should get used to. Try to imagine a life in which you suddenly become third world status of a country. What would you do if your resources as you know them were not available? What would you do to get by? Because sometimes I think that there's frustration that is unnecessary because it's not like you're actually actively suffering. There is still food at the stores. It may not be exactly what you're used to, but try to either substitute or forego it altogether and focus on other things that you can have. But I just cannot imagine my life ending just because my favorite water brand is out. You know, that is just absurd. And that's the kind of spoiled behavior that I guess as someone who was never spoiled growing up, it makes me feel like I'm ahead because I'm okay if I'm catered to and I'm okay if I'm not. I can realistically exist with whatever is available out here. So there you guys have it. That's it for me. Thank you so much for tuning in. Let me know your stories of people being oblivious about things, you experiencing challenges because some people just had a hard time accepting the way things were are no longer how they are, and it's gonna take some time for it to get back. If it ever comes back, it's possible this is going to be the new normal. What do you do? Okay, that's it. Bye.